can talk to me and
Yes. So, I have my papers here. I have promised for many actually that I will tell my old lectures that I used to give all around Finland about survival, how to survive as an artist or artisan in small business. I have a friend here behind camera, Barbara.
oh,
And she will be asking some questions. But today I wanted to talk about how to get customers. Because when I started my business back in 1994, we had recession in Finland. There were no jobs. You couldn't. I used to do all kinds of jobs on site. I used to do cleaning or whatever, but you couldn't get any job, not any. And I wake up thinking that how the heck did I choose a profession like this in this world? Why didn't I become a nurse or something that would be good for something? So at my home I wrote big sign on the wall, tarve, which in Finnish means that what people need. I thought, can I do something that people actually need? You know. And then one day I was at this vegetarian restaurant, and they told me that they would like to have a sauerkraut pot. And that's how I started my business. I made a sauerkraut pot. But actually it took me 1.5 years to make it ready. So it was a really good product, but I used professional people who made sauerkraut as my customers. So I made them a proto, and the ones who criticized me, I made them another proto. And there's always people who just clap their hands and say it's fantastic, it's handmade. But when you want to make a good product, you want to get help from people who really know about it and who are honest. So the ones who had something to critique, I made them a new version of the pot. And actually I'm still very proud of that product, but and my teacher always told that don't use your first idea, you have to work on it. And one of the people who helped me to make that product, she did the chemical research, so that because making sauerkraut you can really easily get wrong kind of growth in it, and then it's not healthy. And so it was interesting, but that was the first time I ever made something for a need. I think there's a lot of ideas, but few people really work on the idea. It's like it takes time to make a good product, and you should give yourself time. Many times people just make the first idea ready, and they don't think about deeply about what they do.
how do you realize what is a good idea to pursue?
I needed time. I did a lot of canoeing that summer and walking around, and because I was unemployed first time in my life, and I think you can find it within yourself better than outside. I always think that it will come, but it doesn't come next day, and I think a lot of people are so in their head, right? Because everything is fast now. So I really think that if you slow down, go within, I recommend meditation. There's many different ways of meditation, but I think within you can find original ideas and not outside. I did the product with those who were teaching how to do sauerkraut with people, and the ones who had something to say, they also felt that it was their product. So that was really good for selling too, because they were proud to be part of the production and proud to be I don't know, my teacher Peter said something about what's the designer and what's different with ceramic artist and the designer. He said designer is like a dog. A ceramic artist is like a cat, it's just doing its own thing. But when you're a designer, you listen to your customers and you make something for them, using of course your visual way of seeing things. But I wouldn't have made such a good product without the customers.
Would you say that is the biggest difference between doing ceramic as a hobby and doing ceramic as a business. One you do for yourself and for your own pleasure,
Yes.
and the other you need to have empathy because you're doing for others. You need to have the need of others in mind.
Yes. Like you want to make plates, and you make plates. There's no customers, but you still make plates. Also, if you're a celebrity nowadays, then you can do whatever. But the way I talk about surviving small business, it's for us regular folks. So, starting a business from art student or designer student was not very good idea because I was already poor. And then I had a lot of empathy for the customers because I felt like maybe they are poor too. When you're surrounded with the people who are like-minded artists, so you don't know your customers. I worked I have been working in Helsinki airport, and then I realized that I lived in this small bubble with my ceramic friends, and we actually had no idea much. We didn't have much idea of the customers, and in order to make your living, you have to know your customers. And when I started, I always had the little book here. When I talked with customers, and they said this and that. A lot of times I thought if they had some idea, I wrote it down. So it was really a good way of getting to know your customers and remembering, because there's so many ideas just pass by. Oh, that would be good, and that would be good, and I try to remember to write it down. Now I have one book where I have all these ideas so that I could be working on. Also, when I did the design work for the sauerkraut pot, I actually wrote to over 40 people. This is so many years ago, so I got about 35 replaced. So that was really well. So a lot of people were interested in it. I tried to figure out who would be my customers. They would be city people who want to make sauerkraut in the city, because in Germany they were selling these huge sauerkraut pots, and I made the kind that you can put in the refrigerator and it will fit in the regular closet, and that's, country people wouldn't be buying them. They don't need it. And usually in countryside they made the sauerkraut once a year, but in people living in Helsinki would make it whenever they felt for it. I involved the customers with the design process. It was also a good way of asking about the price and are they willing to pay. I don't make sauerkraut pots anymore because for me, making in the middle of Helsinki in a small shop like this, and nobody is willing to pay that. So there's no customers for that product anymore. So that's why I don't make sauerkraut pots anymore.
How was this transition from sauerkraut to pots
to what I'm doing now?
Yeah.
Well, because I try to get people, companies to do, because I would have had customers in Sweden and Denmark and Norway for the sauerkraut pot, but one person can't do it in the city. So I try to get, how do you call when other people are doing the product? It's not undertaker. No, I try to get industry to make them for me. I have been in Finland and looked for Estonia, and in Finland I got so bad quality that I couldn't sell them. They were not food safe, because making a sauerkraut pot, it has to be. I didn't want to use regular stoneware, so I did one-time firing and I glazed them raw, so that the glaze and the clay went together. So they were, and I also used Finnish earthenware clay as it was making the we call it sintrata in Finnish, making the clay really not porous. So I don't know the word in English.
Oh, but I understand.
Yeah. Well, anyways, then I end up with the other products to go to China. I worked in China because they were in China making one of my products. And after I came from China 2000, I worked there a couple of months at the time for 3 years, and then when I came back, the project ended. I decided that I was selling one product in Denmark, Sweden, and France and Germany, and I was just in the telephone talking with customers, and I should have at the same time been making new products, and I just got burnout. So I went to I took a work at the Helsinki airport, and when I was there, I got the idea just to start using local clay, because since I graduated, the world had turned to globalization. So pottery prices had went down to the drain. So all the pottery is really cheap. If you like making pottery, the ecological price is high.
But do you think the sauerkraut pot was a successful product?
It was successful because there wasn't anything like that at the time in the market. Now you can get really cheaply made. It became very popular, and I got a lot of publicity doing that. So because I think it was that's how I started UDUMBARA. It got so much, like I was in the morning TV making sauerkraut. Over 50 magazines wrote about it in a small country like Finland. So that was the base for my brand, to make something that was different. If you want to succeed, you have to be different. When I talk about small business, I'm also talking about how to make a good life, not only money-wise, to make a living in the way that you feel good. So I think my business ideas come from here and not here. This is very short and fast, and it's like the quarter business, how to do it hard business. But then if you want to make your own way and own brand, then you have to take it from here, not head-centered. If you know what I mean. That sounds so weird.
No, it's just it's a good answer. I was just thinking, how was the impact of going through this path that you went through? Like you wanted to do something new, and it seems to me that doing the sauerkraut gave you at the same time the structure as a business. It helped you to learn how to take feedback, how to connect, and to get your name out there.
Yes.
And that's really crucial when you're opening a business, right?
Yeah. The best thing was that in the end I went to work at Helsinki airport and was doing part-time pottery, because I learned to work with customers. I learned to deal with money working at Max Mara at Helsinki airport, because then I learned so much about customer service, and at the same time I could freely do my design, and that's how I moved to using Finnish clay, and so that's how I found later on in my new way. But when I started, so my customers were people who made vegetarian food and sauerkraut, culinary-stick, good food, and then I made a lot of different kind of products for kitchenware for many years. So I got to know the customers, and then I had the customer base through that fair. I went to the food fair, and there I was the only ceramist there. So they saw me there. So that was that was good also for looking for the different kind of road in the business. If you know your customers, then you have a business. I said your products have to be good, and the only way you make good product is with the customer. So if I sit here and go how to make a good sauerkraut pot, that wouldn't work. So the ones who gave me feedback were the ones who made me make a good product. So I'm forever grateful for them. Really big hype in ceramics in Finland right now. It's very trendy. So I think if something is trendy, then should already start thinking about what's going to be next. Like somebody said a few years ago, orange is the color, is the most favorite color right now, and I said, shoot, I don't like that because everything is orange here, so I don't want my color to be trendy, because if it's trendy then it goes down too. That's like fast fashion. So now I'm listening to my gut. So I'm not making kitchenware anymore, because you can't really make kitchenware because the globalization has made it so cheap. So I make something that they haven't imported Finnish clay to different places yet. You should know how is your business different from the others. I am not a millionaire, so if you want to make big business, a lot of money, then maybe I'm not the right teacher. But if you want to make your living, I think I'm happy what I have. I like bicycles and Helsinki. So this is advice for people who want to have a good life.
It's a realistic approach to life.
Yes.
More sustainable.
Like I give pottery classes here because I think there's a great need for people to have their hands in the clay and make something with their hands. But I think it's in a mindful way, because we live in a world that's producing too much, and I think we should learn to be and not produce so much. And this clay that I use, it really helps you to be present and be grounded about. And maybe 1% of Finns know about my pottery, because I sell here and Artek in Finland. So I concentrate on them, and the industry can concentrate for the mass production. And that's how I want to live my life. Thank you. We are talking about selling.
Oh, great.
Because that's a taboo. And I also want to talk about money.
Nice.
Because at least for my relationship with money was very traumatic. And then in order to have a small business, you have to make friends with money.
That's super important, and it's good that you start your video talking about your own story, because now we're having really high levels of unemployment, and a lot of people are struggling to find jobs.
Yes.
Everywhere, not only in Finland, and now we have AI, so we don't even know how many people are gonna be unemployed in the next few years because of AI.
I think so many, even in Instagram and everywhere, you can see people who are using, they don't have their own ideas. They are just up here using AI, and it's so unpersonal.